Okay, so we're working through this Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, and it is a exercise I've heard Katie Byron say in stillness, and I love that word because it's devoid of any connotations that might lead one to be resistant to the process. You know, if I had used the word meditation, I know a lot of folk will go, oh, that's esoteric, that's Eastern. And if I'd said it's a prayerful experience, someone might say, you know, that's very Christian, or that's, you know, it avoids the mind from finding a justification. This comes back to my drive behind these chats, and that is to share a method to alleviate suffering. And suffering is ubiquitous on the planet. It's everywhere, and this is simply and humbly my experience with this modality. It's genius in its structure. The I know mind, the critical mind, the analytical mind will read through this and just see a bunch of questions or not, and it doesn't matter until you do it and you experience it for yourself. You begin to taste the genius behind this, the beauty behind this. The experience is profound. So when you approach it, it's important that you practice stillness, and stillness is natural to anybody. I think it's just a case of getting really quiet and finding a place in your place of living where you stay, and cordoning off a couple of minutes, 10-20 minutes in the morning or whenever, where you feel comfortable and relaxed, and becoming aware of your surroundings and that noticing. And so those two words, stillness and noticing, I think are probably the most important words in the English language that describe this process. But, you know, the ego wants to be proactive and devise a number of strategies. I think A Course in Miracles calls it cleverness or ingenuity and that kind of thing. And it's not necessary. Stillness is quietness, and noticing is observation. And it's tricky in the beginning, however, with the genuineness or authenticity of your desire to discover truth with the aim of ending your own personal suffering, that authentic desire will be matched with support and guidance that will come from divine inspiration, and you can trust that. It's a tender place and space within your heart where you discover that you are no different to the lowliest of the lowest folk on our planet that are struggling on a daily basis. Meaning, it's an equalizer, really, you know, from our mental structures of who we believe we are, and the, for lack of a better term, the facades that we create to function on a daily basis. This is a leveler in this space where we realize and understand that all that matters is authenticity and innocence, really, and in that space we can connect with our true heart. So we notice emotions and feelings that arise, and we challenge the desire to get involved and justify whatever arises. So I had to learn this over a long time, and some are more gifted than others at this, and it really doesn't matter, because as you do the work, as you do these worksheets, the mind, it's a training exercise every time, you know, and I'm reminded of scripture where it says, bring every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. There is a mental discipline involved, and it comes from your desire for truth. So, the desire for truth comes from, for me at least, it was the intense suffering. So I look at, and I've said it before, that my baptism into terror was a baptism into extreme joy, because it became the fire for pursuing a mental discipline that would end it. And so the noticing mind and the noticing attitude is really self-love. It's a choice that you're saying, I see these emotions of fear and terror and guilt and hatred. I recognize them, and I'm choosing not to cast any judgment. I'm going to notice them and move on to the next question and the next question. It's a very honest space. So I was in stillness after the last video and looked at this. He violated my innocence, and I realized that it wasn't that he violated my innocence, it's that I believed he made fun of my disability. That was for me what was going on. For you it might be something completely different. It's important that every time you answer a question, you go back to that situation that was creating the conflict and emotion for you. I said it in the first, in one of the videos, that when you do this Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, stick to a place and time. And this you can do for when you were a little kid, or with someone that has passed on, as long as you investigate in that time and place. It's a very powerful pointer just to keep in mind. So question 2 are your wants. Question 3 is the advice that you offer. Question 4 is what you need. And then question 5 is your complaints. So in this situation, who angers, confuses, hurts, saddens, or disappoints you, and why? So I'm infuriated with Joe because he made fun of my disability. Then if I go inside, I'm still, I move on to question 2. In this situation, how do you want him or her to change? What do you want him or her to do? I want Joe to understand that he has crossed a line. What do you want him to do? I want Joe to apologize for what he said. What advice? So in this situation, what advice would you offer him or her? So I go back again, and I go to that space. I was texting, I opened my phone, I saw the comment. It was on a social platform for everyone to see. And I would say, Joe shouldn't make fun of me. Joe shouldn't take my weaknesses to social media. Now the context of this is that I posted a comment that I saw someone say regarding a something that someone had posted and misinterpreted, but the context was that their misinterpretation was in fact not a misinterpretation. It was purposefully done, so it was satirical and sarcastic, and this person had picked up on that and exposed it, and I felt hurt and embarrassed. So I instead of reacting and taking that and lashing out on it, I understood that this is a perfect opportunity to do the work on. And the reality is I don't always do that. the reality is I often react as well. So learning to understand that the negative feelings and emotions are coming from a place of misunderstanding of a situation, and therefore projecting my own impressions and data, my own understanding of the I know mind onto a situation, becomes the key. Then there's a space between a hurtful situation and reaction, and completing the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and working with my thinking is an education of, for me, of beliefs I'm projecting onto people, not just in this situation, but on everybody else that comes after this person. Because if I'm holding a belief, I will project that belief onto everybody I meet. I think that's extremely important. So even though I might not have the same circumstances, I will have the same belief systems. And doing a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet unravels all of this. So question 4 is my needs. I need Joe to feel my hurt. It's a good one. He needs to truly get into my shoes and feel the pain he caused me. Joe should apologize. What do you think of him or her in this situation? And I love this one because it's make a list. It's okay to be petty and judgmental. You're given the freedom to just let rip and really go for it. And I'll be back. So the question 6 is the complaints, and as I was saying, you have carte blanche literally to say exactly how you feel, and in that situation you need to go back and relive it. So this is where the stillness comes in. Stillness creates a space to allow the experience of that moment to surface. If it's truth that you're after, you want to catch the authenticity of the moment. At least that is what I have discovered. The power of this, the genius of this, is in experiencing the authenticity of the moment as it is revealed to you. Not as you interpret it with the I know mind, but as it is revealed to you, and you capture it here on paper, so that when you question it, you're questioning authentic experience. That's where the power is. So in this experience, I felt Joe was intrusive. I won't go that far. Intrusive, malicious, belittling, abusive, hurtful, disempowering, and I'll catch you in the next video.